Hey friends, today we're going to start talking about the book, and today we're going to talk about chapter 1, It Takes Two, because it takes two to make a thing go right. But before we get started today, make sure you like this YouTube page, subscribe, and click the notification button so you can be notified when we go live or when there's new updated information. We're going to be filling this page with good content, so make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Thanks, friends. Hey friends, I'm excited because the book is finally out and it's on Amazon. And so I just wanted to take this time to talk a little bit about the book. I want to start today with chapter 1, which is It Takes Two. And I think about it takes two to make a thing go right. You know that song? Because it does take two to make a thing go right. And so I started with kind of talking about It Takes Two because before you can even dive in to the rest of the book and really understand the content and the tangible items in there, there's a lot of different action items and tangible concepts, business concepts that we talk about in the book, and I want you guys to utilize. But before we can get to doing any of that, you have to have a commitment to doing the work. It's not a commitment from one person in the relationship, it's a commitment from both of the people in the relationship. So I use the example in every chapter. There's a celebrity couple that I talk about. In chapter 1, it's Denzel and Pauletta. And Denzel and Pauletta talk about each one of them having a very important role in their marriage. And I would say you have to have an equal role, just different parts. But if you talk to Denzel, he may say that Pauletta played a major role, even more so than him, in making sure that their house was a home, that their children had structure, that their children had balance, and felt that their house was a very safe place. Because he was out, making money and earning money and, pursuing his career. He would say probably, and I use some quotes from him in the book, that it was Pauletta that did the grunt of the work in the home to make sure that that home was a safe place, a safe foundation for their kids to nurture and grow. So I want to just say this. It's so important to have the commitment and loyalty that I can't even talk about or start any other chapter without you understanding that both people have to be bought into the process, and there is no completion. There is no final chapter. After you conclude the book, you have a marriage plan, you have a strategy, but the plan is only as good as the work that you continue to put in it often and consistently. It's just like you going to work. You don't say, okay, I completed that project and now I'm done and you can pay me for the rest of my life because I've done the work. You continuously have different projects, deadlines, due dates. Once one project is concluded, you go into another project. And marriage is similar. You go into different phases. You may be in the early phases, raising little babies, and then you have toddlers, and then next thing you know, you have teens and you're teaching them how to drive. There's a consistent project that you're working on in your marriage. And so sometimes it's a children-based project, and sometimes it's an intimacy-based project within your relationship. And sometimes it's understanding working schedules and how I can lean into my spouse because they need more right now. And at times I'm empty and I'm depleted and I need them to lean into me and pour into me and nourish and replenish me. And so those are the different projects and deadlines and timelines that you're managing in your relationship. It is never a completion unless someone dies. The work is never completed. It changes, it looks different, it gets easier, I will say, as you have a routine and you understand the work and you get consistent about doing it. It gets much, much easier and much more fun. The difficult part is in the very beginning, when you're having tough discussions and when everybody's not on one accord. And sometimes people are coming to this book not at the beginning of a marriage, but in the middle of a marriage, and they are experiencing difficult, tough times and conflict. And so the tough times are in the beginning, but know that once you have a plan and a strategy, it's just like with a business. In your business, once you have a strategy and everybody has a clear vision, then the mat gets a little bit easier. I always say this, you can't know your way unless you know your why. If you don't know your why, you'll never know your way. So the marriage business book is about knowing your why and also the way, the roadmap to get there, right? But you have to be clear on the why, and that's the strategy part. That's the mission. Are we on the same mission? Do we have the same values? Are we pushing the same? Are we equally yoked? And what does that look like? So once you have that why, discovered. Then the rest of the book is the action items, the way you get there, right? But you cannot even start without the commitment and loyalty, understanding that it in fact takes two consistently always working on the marriage. And the great thing about it is once you do that, every other area of your life, your career and work, your community work, your finances, your children, everything else fits so nicely into the plan. Once you have devised the plan, that you'll see that the work is worthwhile, and then it just becomes very fluid and very easy, and it flows so much better after you put in that hard work. It's like the labor. I always talk about the labor pains and having a baby, and once you push, that push is so tough, but when that baby comes out and you see all of that work was for this is what you got to keep pushing for, because at the end there is a glorious rainbow at the end of the rainstorm that will be a blessing for you guys for years and years to come. And not only for you guys, this is the most important part. If you don't hear anything else, it's for your legacy. It's for the people you're going to leave behind. You're doing the work now for you, and you will benefit from it. But more importantly, you're going to leave a blueprint, a roadmap for your children to have healthy relationships, healthy marriages. Marriages are foundational to every other piece of thing that we do in our life. So if you don't walk out that house happy, then you can't be the most effective. You can't optimize you. So anyways, I'm sorry it took so long, but it takes two to make this thing right. So make sure you get the book. That's chapter 1. I'm looking forward to talking to you more about the other chapters, but it takes two to be committed to make this thing right. All right, I hope you liked a little bit of what you heard today. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe so you can get more information. Tell a friend about this YouTube, and keep following me and tell me what you want to hear about. Thanks, guys.